Peace and blessings of God be on you. In this video, I will present my third and final argument about the truth of prophets. This argument goes like this. Every prophet makes a lot of unusual prophecies about the future. Lots of those prophecies relate to him saying that he is going to have victory over his enemies. Those prophecies are made at a time when the prophet has just a handful of followers, and most of those followers are poor and they have no worldly influence. And of course, they are very small in number compared to the ones who are opposing the message, and the ones who are opposing are also very powerful. And yet, the prophet, in the face of all the opposition that his small community of weak followers is getting in those days, with threats to wipe out his community and constant use of force, constant tortures happening. In the face of all this, he makes a prophecy that not only he and his community are going to survive, but they're actually going to win. And what's more, that prophecy comes true. What is your explanation for this? Chance? Really? Well, remember that this prophecy of his victory against all odds is not the only unusual prophecy that he makes during the course of his life. There are lots and lots of things foretold about the future, and every single one of them comes true at some point of time. Add to this the unusual amount of his prayers that are granted against all odds. And many of these prayers are about events over which human beings have no control. For example, the prayers about the cure of a person who is ill with such a disease, which the medical experts of that time are calling incurable. Each single event in itself may be thought of an unusual occurrence, which is unlikely but still possible. But what will you make of hundreds of such events happening and all going in favor of his prophecies? Mathematically, suppose the probability of an event is very low, say 0.01 or 1% or 1 out of 100, it's all the same thing. If that event occurs, you may say that this was a chance. However, if someone has predicted beforehand that this event is going to occur and has also claimed that he's been told so by God, and therefore his whole truth is dependent upon that event occurring, and then that event actually occurs, and you still call it a chance. And what if that is not just one incident and there are hundreds such incidents, each with a probability of 0.01 or 1%? And for each of these 100 events, he says beforehand that the event is going to happen, as told to him by God. And then each event actually happens. So 100 events happening, each with a probability of 1%, and not a single prophecy ever gone false. To calculate this, you will do 0.01 raised to power 100. Most calculators will give you a 0 for that. Even the strictest believers in probability will be shaken with this kind of result. The thing that makes it extremely remarkable is that it's all being predicted beforehand. And he's even staked his character and truth on the occurrence of this, and this happens. And there's not a single event where he's predicted as something being happening and coming from God, and it doesn't happen. There is no such instance. Therefore, this has to be from God. So with that, we conclude question number 2. This was my third and final argument about the truth of prophets. And now, in the next video, we will take up question number 3. And if you remember from my first video, question number 3 was, what is the logical proof of life after death? God bless you.